Namaste, everyone. Welcome to the Golden Child Podcast, the podcast to help you to reconnect with your inner child to live the life you truly desire. Here's the also intro.
Round 5.
Welcome back. So today we have from Sweden, Ulrika Karlsson. Thank you so much for coming as a guest to the Golden Child Podcast.
Hi, Enrico, and thank you so much for having me. I'm really looking forward to these conversations and the questions that you might have to me. So also thank you who's tuning in and listening. So thank you.
Thank you so much, Ulrika. Let's start with the first question. Could you introduce yourself to our audience, our listeners, in a unique way, in a very authentic way that really represents your soul and who you are? And maybe, I don't know, in a way that you have never done in another podcast, something innovative or rebels.
Wow, no pressure, Enrico. So I guess this big question, who am I? For me, it's existential and it's ever changing. Like I'm not the same person today as I was a year ago. But I know that my soul's mission is here to guide you into high states of consciousness, to open your heart and to remember who you are on a soul level. That is my mission. That's why I'm here. So I'm here to guide you through this ascension process, individually and collectively, that we are seeing in the world today. And by doing that, I have a lot of different tools in my toolbox, holistic disciplines like yoga. I've developed yoga for highly sensitive persons and empaths. And it's based upon everything that I've ever done for myself in my own healing journey. And I also use Tantra as a tool. Tantra means path of expansion. So everything that is, for our soul's evolution and growth, I do it in a holistic discipline. Quantum physics, different healing modalities, and also soul realignment, like karma clearings or soul readings in the Akashic records. So that's what I do to guide you into being the best version of yourself every day, living a more heart-centered and more aligned life.
Love it, Ulrika. It's a beautiful, beautiful description of what you're doing. Also, I was gonna ask you if you could describe your business in one sentence and what you're doing to serve others. How would it be?
So it's something like this. I am here to guide you back into your heart, into high states of consciousness, and to remember who you are on a soul level.
I love it. I love it. Straight to the point. I like the idea of reconnecting rather than just changing, which I don't know, you see a lot, especially in the coaching discipline, unfortunately. But I think that what you're doing, and actually what I'm doing also with my business, is not about changing the people, actually reminding them who they are and reconnected to their source. For me, is the inner child. For you, maybe is the higher state of consciousness.
But for me, they go together. You cannot do one thing without the other, because today I'm sitting here with you, Enrico, and I'm 52 years old today. And every day, so every version of myself is still vibrant and alive within me. So obviously the inner child is also a part of who I am today, and what I experienced, what we all experience in our, childhood and when we grow up, and how we are becoming these beings that are being disconnected from who we are on a soul level, and that we believe and are living in the illusion that we are the programs, the 95% of unconscious or subconscious programs that most of us, act upon or have in our lives. So our wounded little inner child is very important for growth and healing, obviously.
I totally agree. It's actually the purpose of the business I'm creating is actually authentic living through inner child connection, through yoga, meditation, and the slogan is called "From the Mat to the World." So moving beyond yoga, beyond the asana, beyond the physical part, by healing the mind, and then next healing the soul, or actually not even healing, reconnecting. What I really like, reconnecting.
Exactly. And also all other parts of us, our light bodies, our physical body, mental body, spiritual body. There's so many different parts and aspects of us, our inner light, our inner darkness. So to reclaim all these different aspects of ourselves is how we aligned, and transformation of the inner child and its wounds is essential for spiritual growth.
I totally agree. I totally agree. Let's move on to the next question, which is really interesting. You have demystified spiritual healing by openly discuss the benefit of energy medicine and its potential as a viable healthcare solution for the 21st century. Can you expand on the idea that our, let me see. No, actually, no. This is not the right question. Sorry, I was wrong. I did a small mistake. I actually printed the wrong version. Let me see if I can find the one. Sorry, here we are. I got it. Okay, here we are. Your book, 2:47 a.m., The Journey Home to My Heart, From Desperation to Spiritual Awakening, is a powerful healing purpose and love. Instead of focusing what the book is about, can you tell us why you wrote and why people should read it, and who is the ideal reader for your book? I apologize for the question because I missed that up for another interview. So let's talk about your first book, 2:47
Okay.
a.m.
Thank
Right?
you. So
Oh,
2:47
beautiful.
a.m.,
I
The
love it.
Journey Home to My Heart. Thank you, Enrico. This book is actually here as a trampoline
Okay.
for each and one of us to become aware of our inner darkness. And to become aware of our inner darkness is the first step to transformation, because we can never, change or reconnect to anything if we're not even aware. So this book can be used as a trampoline for people to dive into their own wounds, their own inner shadows, darkness, whatever you want to call it. And as I share with authentic and vulnerable expression my own journey from being mental illness, being depressed, suicidal, etc. So it's like a trampoline, an inspiration for people who want to access more parts of themselves, to know that there is a way through the darkness, and not maybe what we have been taught earlier, maybe not to suppress it or not to think about it or to distract us or numb us or to always be busy, but to dive in, to go through it is the only way to do
Yes.
it. So it's like a trampoline for people who are willing to take themselves into the next level, more authenticity, and to transform their inner wounds, their inner, child, inner darkness, etc., into more light and access of consciousness. So it's like a trampoline for people to explore their own inner wounds.
Love it. Can I ask you, when did you publish the book and what pushed you to publish the book?
Good question. I was actually part of national TV here in Sweden, and I participated in a couple of articles. And I told them my story about how I only slept 15 minutes per night, hence the title 2:47 a.m. This is when I woke up every night after 15 minutes of sleep, when I was being murdered and tortured. So this book actually came after being on national television and being on several podcasts, because people wanted to know more about my journey as an inspiration to sort of ignite their own.
Oh, beautiful. So as for the sleep deprivation, I want to share something with you. So last year, I had a very bad injury, okay, on my L4, L5, when the intervertebral disc got snatched and a part like a splinter got out, and got inside the one of the nerves. I don't remember the name of the nerves. The nerves is pulsating all the time. I don't remember. Well, it can come up. Anyway, the pain was unbearable because I was in pain all the time. I could not sleep during the night, which was, so I can feel you, because I remember that for 3 months I couldn't sleep, but not because I didn't want it, but because I really couldn't, because the pain was unbearable. Every time I was laid down, I was like this. It was like an alarm, but I could get sucked, from the pain, or awaken from the experience. I decided the second one. It's very hard. I'm not saying it's easy. Totally not. Really, I was that close to be like snapping, really going to a bad place. But as you said before, I decided to embrace and be aware of my horrible darkness I was living, and I got through it. And really, it helped me a lot on the journey. So, but sleep
Yes,
deprivation is bloody hell. It's just horrible, really.
it is. And I had it, for decades. It started gradually, and I adjusted to that. And so I had it for decades, and I only slept 15 minutes per night for a very, very, very long time, many years. So you can just imagine on what it did to me, how I felt, how my personality was, all my bodies. I was such a mess. I was looking in the mirror every day, thinking if I was going to commit suicide that day. And at the time, I was a mother of two very, very young children, and so it was very painful, and all my cognitive abilities were affected. My physical body, obvious, mental, spiritual. So it was, yes, I was looking into the mirror every day, just wanting to end my life. So yes, it is. It's devastating, but it's also a place of awakening if you choose to do so, because everything comes, with different perspectives. Everything comes with different polarities. Everything comes with different information. And if you are looking on the word depressed, you can also see of it as deep rest.
Oh my God,
Rest
that's
for
deep. I'm gonna write
body,
it down.
for body, mind, and spirit. So if you are in a dark space, if you are depressed, maybe it's only a deep rest for you to grow into a better version of yourself.
Interesting. I like it. Oh, and by the way, can I ask you, do you think that the 247 trauma made you, or is actually the biggest why behind the person that you're right now standing in this very moment with me?
Of course, of
Mm,
course.
I
I
imagine.
mean, each and one of the challenges that each and one of us have is an opportunity for growth. It's
Yeah.
an opportunity for the soul to evolve if we choose so. It's always about a free choice. And I realized that either, I'm going to continue to live like I did, full of self-hatred, full of disdain, self-contempt, sleeping only 15 minutes per night, being a wreck, a human wreck. I was like, jumping all the time because I was so sensitive of sounds and light. And I couldn't function as a mom. I couldn't function as a human being. So I was so in a bad shape. So I could choose to stay there for a little while longer, and then I would be dead. And then I realized I won't be any use of nobody, not to my children, not to myself, if I'm dead. So I need to put the oxygen mask on myself first so I can provide things for other beings. So of course, and also it's interesting if you're looking at everything is information. 247 is information. The number 2 stands for heart, the number 4 stands for balance, and number 7 stands for spirituality. So 247 is, you know, a reawakening to your heart to get balance in your spiritual life. And it's also the organ of the liver. So every organ of the body have their own clock where they are being restored, you know, at night times. And if you are not asleep, then there's no restoration. So 247 is for the liver, and the liver is all about anger, you know, a lot of stored and suppressed anger.
You know what I also see? The number of the chakra. The second chakra is Vadhisthana, which is where we store, you know, the emotions, according to the yogis. 4 is
Exactly.
your heart that is blocked, you know, to possibility, you know, yeah. And then, of course, Sahasrara, the chakra of the head, of the crown, which is connected to the higher
Exactly.
level of consciousness.
Exactly. There you go. So it's information. And at the time, obviously, I didn't see it as that. I didn't experience it like that. I was feeling very, you know, separated, disconnected, alone, isolated, wondering what was wrong with me, you know. And the less, obviously, I slept, the sicker I was. So
Yeah.
obviously, but it was an ongoing process for decades. So I wouldn't be here with you today if that awakening didn't occur. Then I would be dead, you know, a corpse, long gone.
The greatest mentors I had, they had to go really through hell in order to become really what they are. I remember, I don't know if you're familiar with the work of Joe Dispenza. Uh, he basically risked of becoming, you know, basically tetraplegic because a car hit him when he was riding a bicycle, and he decided not to go through surgery and basically healing himself through the power of the mind.
Yes.
And he became what he is right now, one of the, you know, New Year's best-selling author, one of the most amazing neuroscience we have on earth. And if that event hadn't occurred, you know, we wouldn't be able to have the Joe Dispenza that we have right now. And exactly if the 247 event hadn't occurred, I wouldn't maybe be able to know Ulrika Karlsson as I know right now.
Exactly. That's so true. And also, this is what I write some about in here in this book, The Sacred Soul, the Divine Evolution Through Time and Space. Like, we all have egos within us, and the ego part is to keep us safe, to keep us, you know, to survive. That is the ego's mission. And the ego wants us to stay in our comfort zone. So we can choose to stay in our comfort zone, but we all know that there's no growth in the comfort zone, right?
No.
Or we can follow the crumbs that the soul leaves us. I never listened to it. You know, I ignored the information. I ignored anything. I was just pushing myself through hardships. I didn't pay attention to how I was feeling, you know, to all these signals, the information that came. But the soul knows. The
So no.
soul is the divine part of us from divine source. So each and one of us are like a unique pixel from divine source. And this book is here to remind us who we are on a soul level, that we are so much more than our thoughts, our mindset, our bodies. We are the divine, godlike essences that is called the soul that thrives in each and one of us if we choose so. We can choose to be run by the ego and to be stuck in our comfort zone where no growth is occurring, or we can, you know, let go of our limiting beliefs, our fears, and do it anyway. Because I have had very much fears within me, you know. Obviously I had so much fears of how I was perceived. It was very important for me to be good looking. I had anorexia, eating disorders, sleeping disorders, obviously, so many, you know, fucked up programs. And just to realize that I have these fucked up programs, but I am not fucked up. That was like a big realization to me. And each and one of us, we have these fucked up programs
Yeah.
stored. in our water, which I write about in this book, Holy Fuck in Sacred Water.
I love it. I love
Yeah.
especially the title. It's really so provocative. I love it, really. And by the way, I love the graphics of your books.
Yeah,
You need to
thank
share
you.
the content with me, really, because
Yeah,
he or she has done a splendid job with your covers. They're really, really good looking.
thank you. Yes. So the books are also here to ignite your remembrance and to ignite, reactivate on who you are, because most of us, we have forgotten.
Yeah.
So we are running around in the hamster wheel, keeping us distracted, numbing ourselves with phones, cell phones, computers, social media, the illusions on how we should look, how we should be, how we should act. We are running around to earn a lot of money, etc., etc. And most of us are disconnected from spirit and from source.
Yeah, I totally agree. And let's talk about your second book and the concept of the Akashic. Which, by the way, you need to explain to our listener. I didn't know anything about before, and I would love you to explain to our listeners what these are.
Thank you. So you're talking about my latest
Yeah,
book.
Sacred
Yes.
books. Yeah, by the way, Sacred Soul is the last book. And
Yes.
the first one, 247, and then there's Holy Fuck, right?
Yes. So
Okay.
I've written 5 books in 2.5 years. So this is my latest.
Beautiful. Beautiful.
Yes. So this book is here to remind you or challenge you on who you are on a soul level. And everything that we experience is a gift. So we can use outer challenges that are disguised gifts and what we see in the world today to grow as souls. But the Akashic record is like Google to the soul. It is everything that has ever existed, everything that will ever exist, everything that could have been or might be, all the probabilities is stored in your Akashic record. And the Akashic record is both, out there in the universe, but it's also stored within you, in your water, in your sacred water, in your cells, in your DNA. And we are so polluted and so disconnected how we live, how we think, So our inner water are polluted, and this means that we have no access, no or very little or limited access to who we are on a soul level. But so the Akashic record is something that each and one of us have, and it's like all entwined into this huge, enormous, energetic database.
Okay.
And you can just retrieve information. And you can say it like this also. So I obviously am a girl, I'm a woman, I love chocolate. Who doesn't? And you can see of it or think of it as a 10-layer chocolate cake. A 10-layer chocolate cake, yes.
Okay.
So the physical bodies are in the 3rd dimension, the 3rd layers. And the 4th dimension is where we have our mindsets. It's still energy, but it's not tangible. We can, like our bodies, it's dense, it's physical. We can live in the illusion that we have bodies, right? But from the 5th dimension to the 10th and above, that's the vibration of the soul. So when I go in to do a karma clearing that I'm sharing here, a karma clearing, a soul reading, when I retrieve information from past lifetimes, from this lifetime, also who you are on the soul, what star do you come from in your origin, like what star are you originally from? So the building bricks of your blueprint of your soul. So in a karma clearing, when I enter the 5th dimension, and the higher the dimension, the lower the frequency, and the less veils between. So I can retrieve information from your soul from the 5th dimension because the density is much lighter.
Okay, the density is lighter. Okay.
Yeah.
So if
Down
it's
here,
lighter, you can decipher it. Okay.
Yes, but you need to be like a clear channel to do it.
like the water. Maybe when there is, you know,
Yes,
the water is
yes,
not still, you cannot see it. Once the water is still,
exactly,
you can see it. Okay, that's why.
exactly. And when the water is cleared out, you have the clarity, you are connected to, you know, your body's inner wisdom, etc. When the water is muddy, you are being run by the ego and unconscious programs 95% of your time.
Okay.
So we
And
only
if
have access to 5% of consciousness. And from here, we think we are in the illusion that we are making conscious decisions.
can you
So,
explain our listeners a little bit, because maybe some may be confused between the difference between karma and the Akashic memory and how these two are connected.
so our karma is stored in the Akashic records.
Okay.
So the karma is stored there. They're intertwined. The energy is there, and I can see my future in the Akashic record. So once I clear my karma, it is like these computers. If there's a virus on the computer is slow, maybe it's lagging, maybe you don't have the clarity, you know, and people can take your money or your information.
Yeah.
But when you have removed and clear out the viruses from the computer, then you
Mhm.
have the clarity. It's smooth. It's, you know, aligned, etc. So you can do a karma clearing from an Akashic reading, and you can also see the probabilities of your future. The more you clear out your karma, the clearer your future will be, the brighter your future will be, right? Because if I still have this old shit with me, if I have the karma with me, then this is influencing, you know, how I manifest, envision my future.
Let's talk about a little bit more when you said clear the karma. What do you mean by that? Can you explain our listener what it means? Especially, could you please explain what karma truly means? Because we have a terrible misconcept of what karma means. Because we're coming, you know, from Christians origins and, you know, traditions, and people think, especially, you know, in the place that I live, the karma is I'm good. Someone is doing things to me. The karma will come to him or to her or something like that, you know. But this is the Christianity that is really like interfering on what karma truly means. Could you explain to our listeners what we truly mean by karma and what does it mean really clearing our karma?
Yes, good question. I love it. So I can say it really easily. All of us are contributing to the bloody mess that we see in the world today. All of us are unconsciously contributing to energies of being the perpetrator and being the victim. We all have it in us. It's stored within us. It's stored within the muddy waters of our DNA, in our cells, etc. So this means that we are all contributing to rape, pollution, wars, conflicts, because we have it within us and we are transmitting it out there. So our karma is co-creating the mess that we see in the world today. And for each soul that clears out the karma, and the karma is all the negative choices that you have made. Like, we are energetic beings. We never die. This body dies from this lifetime, but the eternal, the infinite within me that I talked about as the soul from divine source, that is infinite, that never dies. So it carries on from lifetime to lifetime, carrying all the memories with it from this lifetime to this lifetime. And then we also have the memories and the lineages from our mother's side and our father's side. So all of this is stored in each and one of us. So when we clear out the karma, I go into your Akashic record with your consent, and I trace your negative choices from past lifetimes when you started to make negative choices.
Yeah.
And where most of us killed other people for money or for power over or manipulation or greed, etc. Energies that we still see in the world today, you know. We are killing each other over sexuality, over religion, and over money. So this is still the energy that we are transmitting. So when we go in and do a karma clearing, for each soul that does the karma clearing, there is this new vibration. It's like a clean slate.
Okay,
And
I
you
see now.
vibrate
Yeah.
in a higher state of consciousness, being more aligned with who you are from the star system that you're from and the building bricks in your soul's blueprint. And this means that we are individually in a higher vibration, also contributing to a high vibration in the collective consciousness, how we can heal, and healing and recovering, reclaiming, transmuting shadows into more lights, shadows into more access to more consciousness, fears into more love. So each and one individual that I help to do a karma clearing for is transmitting and aiding the ascension of the collective consciousness.
Perfectly clear. I really, really love it. I want to connect this final point with my final question by connecting karma clearing, the 247 transformation, where you were really in a very dark place. And this is actually my favorite question. Imagine that your inner child is standing beside you in maybe one of the most challenging period of your life, sorry. And what would you say to little Ulrika to help her to get through this period moment? Imagine like you were
Thank you. Yes.
were there. What would you say to her?
Thank you. I would pick her up in my arms, looking into her innocent eyes, and I would tell her that you are so much more than you believe. You are not who you believe you are. You're so much more. You're unconditional love. You're infinite. You're from divine source. And here I am, and everything worked out just fine. Don't worry. Play a bit more. Don't take yourself too seriously. I'm here. You made it, and all is well.
Wow. Powerful. Powerful. I love it. I would say that the simpler the answer is, the more profound, I think, the greater the effect. I don't know. When I ask this, I'm not expecting a big answer out of it, but the energy that everyone is giving back from this question, I can feel it from the microphone, from the headphones. Was really nice. I truly felt it. Can I ask you just how this your inner child that you're holding?
It's all the versions.
Okay.
It's the inner child every time. I mean, as children, we never get what we need because we are living in a world that is fucked up with programs, unconscious and subconscious, and we are transmitting our karma. Even though that we love our children, we are unconsciously giving them everything that is in our muddy waters, in our bloodlines, the good things, the bad shit. It's all being transferred through the bloodlines and from lifetime to lifetime. So I'm carrying with me, all the versions of myself in this lifetime and previous lifetime, all the neglected children, all the children that, were isolated, alone, scared. So I see myself in so many different versions, from not even when I was born, when I was, just like the sperm and the egg, and then from anything. So it's big. We are multidimensional beings. So I see my multidimensional inner child, inner children.
Whoa, that's powerful. Multi-dimensional inner child, grandfather, because this is gold. Thank you so much, Ulrika, for sharing this. I just want to tell a little bit your audience, because we have 3 minutes left, just to say where they can find you and where they can find your beautiful books, just to end this.
Thank you, Enrico. So you can find me on my website. It's up and running, not upgraded, but it's there and it's in English. It's www.ulliskarlsson.com, and that is ULLISKARLSSON.com. So there you can find my books also, and I will send it to you. So please use that link. And don't buy them on Amazon, because Amazon keeps all the money and I don't get to see any kind of that energy that I've put in. So please, if you like me and the work that I'm doing here and wants to support me, go through my website. And I'm on Facebook. However, I'm shadow banned, so you might have to Google me for Ulrika Ullis Karlsson. That is ULRIKA ULLISKARSSON. And the same on Insta.
I'll make sure to give all the links or redirect our audience to you. Basically on Spotify, YouTube, and of course Instagram. I'll make sure that they can find you easily in a very accessible way. Thank you so much for coming to the Golden Child podcast, really. And I wish our listeners and everyone, or our viewers as well, a wonderful and beautiful day. Goodbye from Italy, Trieste, and Sweden. Okay, with Ulrika. Thank you so much, and namaste from the Golden Child podcast.
And thank you so much for having me and for your great questions and for also tuning in and listen. And you can also find the karma clearings on my website, ulliskarlsson.com. So thank you. And if there's only like one word or one sentence, what I've said that resonates with you, then it's ripple effect. Then it's, the circle is closed and I am paying off my karma. So that's what saved me. I listened to one thing on Oprah Winfrey and I didn't commit suicide that day. So hopefully there's one thing that I'm saying that resonates with you to make you choose, so you are more aligned with who you are on a soul level. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Ulrika, really. And thank you so much for our listeners to tune in. Have a wonderful day. Peace. Namaste.